Okay, welcome back. What is this? Part 8, I think. 8, yes. This is a big project. That's why there's so many parts. Anyway, today we are doing stairs. Stairs, because I need to do this. This is the point in a project where I get that, what do you call it, writer's block. You know, I just don't want to. I really don't. This is where discipline takes over from motivation, because if you're not disciplined, you might just quit. So we got to keep going. Anyway, it's a beautiful day. We got beautiful weather. Now, I told you in the last video that some things were in flux, and this is what I'm talking about. So we were going to do a 4-foot stairway here. We had 40 feet, and the railing, the guardrail sections were 6 feet on center each. So you take 40, you know, do the math. It ends up with a 4-foot space, and we could use a 4-foot stairway. Well, that's not going to work because a 4-foot stairway is just, it's just too narrow. So we want an 8-foot stairway, because if we're going to go bigger, might as well go full 8 feet. So we're going to do an 8-foot stairway, which does not divide evenly into 40 with 6 feet sections of railing. So those all have to be divided evenly. It was a whole bunch of math that I had to do, but we're ready to go now. So the first thing we need to do is we're going to install a header for the top of the stairway stringers. That's a good board there. It's a little extra. Anyway, so what we're doing right now is we have cut a bunch of 4x4s that are going to hold our header, our stairway header. They are cut to, of course, 14.5 inches. How that comes is you've got a 7.25 inch rim joist here, and then the header is also a 2x8, so that's another 7.25, 14.5. So all you really have to do, and we pre-cut and measured out and marked all of our, where all of our stringers go on our header and on our rim board for the staircase. Anyway, you want to make sure that they don't interfere with where these 4x4s are going to come down. So you can move these 4x4s, you know, a few inches at least to get them out of the way. So we got those, so we know they're not going to interfere with screwing our stringers on, and we're clamping them in place. And just like with everything else, you want to make sure that does not come up above your joists, because it will interfere with your deck boards. So just slightly below is a good measurement. So we're going to temp these in place with 3-inch deck screws just to make sure they don't move around. But of course, we're going to then secure them finally with the 8-inch and 5-inch timber screws. Oh boy, yesterday was one of those days. Whole day goes by, and this is all I have to show for it. We got the header mounted, we got the support block mounted, ready to go. We made all our measurements, and in order to dig 2 holes, which I dug 2 holes, I had to go out to Tractor Supply and buy the 9-inch auger for this post hole digger. Because let me tell you, just look at the difference here. Let me give you a side by side. When you look at this handheld auger, it's a power auger, but this is a beast compared to, I mean, the amount of force that this thing, it's just, I couldn't even get through the sod. It was so dry and hard that I couldn't even get through the sod with this power auger. So I went ahead and bought the 9-inch auger for this, because I didn't need to dig 12-inch holes for these posts. So I figured I'd take this opportunity to give you guys some things I've learned, even in the short time I've been using it. I've used it quite a bit, drilled a lot of holes for the deck, and now drilling these holes. Number one is this thing works just fine on a Kubota BX. The only issue is the power, or the lack of power, the BX has to pull it out of the hole. So what happens is you get down in the dirt, and this gets loaded up with dirt, and maybe you catch a rock, a root, some thick hard clay, whatever it is that gets this thing to start going down in, and it pulls the tractor down. It pulls so much that the BX isn't big enough, it's not heavy enough, it's not powerful enough to yank that sucker out and pull the material out along with the auger. So it gets stuck. And twice yesterday, I had to get a pipe wrench, put it on here, and twist it backwards, because the PTO doesn't have a reverse on it. So you twist it backwards out of the hole. Of course, you shut the whole tractor down, put it in neutral, all that, or put the PTO so it's not engaged. Anyway, back that out, and then you can pull it out of the hole. That's a pain in the butt. That's a real pain in the butt. So it's better to be extremely careful and only go down a couple inches at a time. This thing will just go straight. So and I'm going to show you here in just a second what I mean. I also run the tractor under 2,000 RPMs to do this. Why? Well, because at higher RPMs, this thing's going to dig faster, and if it gets caught, it's just going to go. And there's no saving it. You can't stop it. It will go. So lower RPMs allows me to have more control over how deep it's going, and you can actually listen to the engine on the BX and know when you should pull the auger out of the hole and clear it. So I'm going to dig this hole right now, and I'll show you what I'm talking about. Just under 2,000 RPMs. Lower it very slowly and carefully. Just let it do what it's going to do. Nice and easy, just inch it down. Got to get through that sod. Wow, I'm actually surprised. Oh, there it goes. Now it's through the sod. Okay, oh, hear it? Do you hear it? That's when you got to pull. You hear that engine bogging? Pull it out. Just a couple inches at a time, nice and easy. I haven't even gotten into the clay yet. There, we're into the clay now. It's going to be even more difficult to keep it from going down. Just inch it. Clear it out. That clay gets stuck to it too. Is going to be deep enough. So now that's it. All you really have to do now is clean the dirt from around the hole, get it out of the way, and there's going to be some loose stuff in the bottom, which I'll use this manual digger just to get the bottom of the hole cleaned up. But it's still a whole lot easier than using that other power auger or using this. I don't even know if I could dig in this hard ground with this manual auger. It's definitely worth it. It's still definitely worth it. So anyway, I've got my post holes dug, so let's get back to building this deck. All right, back to building. Next thing we need to do is I need to cut 1.5 inches off of the bottom step of every one of these stringers. Why? Because these are factory made from Home Depot, which just a side note, so to make a stringer like this, you'd need an 8-foot 2x12, and that's $27 currently. And this stringer already cut and made is $27. So, I mean, the amount of time it takes to cut all this and make a stringer, I figured it was better just to buy them the way they are. So, anyway, we're going to cut 1.5 inches off the front of this. Now, why are we doing that? Because of the rim board that's going to go on the front. So we got a 10-inch run on each one of these stringers. This is your rise, this is your run. 10-inch run. So to make this run stay the same, when we put the rim board on, we need 1.5 inches off. You understand what I'm talking about. So measure it, cut it. Every stringer is now cut to the right length, cut that 1.5 inches off the front so that the rim board is going to sit and make, once that rim board's on, is going to make that 10-foot run on each tread. So these are ready to go in. So now this support block comes into play. I've already put the outside stringers on. They're in place, ran the screw down. They're pretty darn close to square with the deck and pretty darn close to level. So I'm going to repeat the process with every one of these, put them in place, make sure they're really close, run that screw in to hold them in place. All right, I'll tell you whether to lift it or drop it. You need to lift your end. Keep going up, 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 right there. Okay, so we got all of our joists kind of temped in place here. The next thing, that's pretty darn close, isn't it?
You're not going to get that any closer.
That's pretty good. That was lucky. Had to do a lot of digging here. You know, just so happened that the stairs, the last step goes down beneath the grade here. So anyway, yeah, we're going to get these two end joists or stringers, whatever you want to call them. We're going to put the rim board on the end stringers here, and then make sure they're all flush with the top of the rim board using 3-inch deck screws. Now it's really coming along. Got the front rim board on, everything is correctly spaced, pretty close to level and plumb and everything it needs to be. It's very close, but we're going to fine tune it by putting posts in the holes. We've got all of our posts set in place. They're plumb, they're pretty much perfect. The center post, of course, is cut off at the top there, so it's not going to interfere with the treads on the stairs. And these posts are all set in place 4 inches above the bottom of the hole. That's going to allow the concrete to fill in beneath the hole, create a footer, and fill in around the post to keep it from going forward or back or side to side. Now we're going to secure them in place using these 5-inch timber screws. So now everything is plumb, it's level, it's perfect, and the concrete is poured. And we can't really do anything else until this concrete sets up. So we're going to move on to the next set of stairs. Same exact process, just a smaller set of stairs. Should go faster, hopefully. So one more step with this, one more step, get it? Anyway, on the back of the stringers, if you remember with the header, we cut the header to about a 33, 34 degree angle. That's to match the angle of the stringers going up behind them. And we're going to attach these straps to the back underside of the stringer and then bend it up to the back of the header. And that will hold them so the downward force will be supported. It's supported in many other ways, but this is just an added little bonus, kind of make sure it doesn't go anywhere. So anyway, we don't want you going anywhere. We will see you again on Saturday when I am doing more stuff and hopefully putting some Trex on this deck. We'll see you then.